The moment the girl's fingertips touch the metal pin, she finds herself standing in an endless golden wheat field. In the distance, a city she has never seen before pierces the skyline. But just as she is about to head toward that futuristic city, a sharp jolt yanks her back to reality. She wraps the pin in a candy wrapper and hides it away, yet she can't help letting her father touch it in the car. Nothing happens. He just thinks his daughter is goofing around again, snatches the pin, and shoves it into his pocket. Late that night, after her father falls asleep, Casey creeps to his bedside. She fumbles through every corner of the cabinet until her fingertips graze a cold metal surface. The familiar wheat field fills her vision again. She leaps to her feet and gazes toward the distant city, but takes only a few steps before slamming into something solid. She follows the wall, finds an opening, and her foot meets nothing but air. She drops straight from the second floor to the ground below. Casey wraps the pin in her father's sock, hops on her bike, and rides out to an open field. She touches the pin once more, and this time she stands inside the city itself. Trackless trains glide silently through midair. Baby strollers hover above the ground. People dive freely in anti-gravity pools. A spacecraft sits docked ahead, while another revs its engines for launch. As a girl who has been obsessed with space her entire life, she desperately wants to rush toward them, but liquid suddenly surges from beneath her feet, blocking her path. The pin's energy drains completely. She snaps back to reality, standing in a shallow pool of water. To get back into that world, Casey has her younger brother crack open their father's computer when she gets home. She searches online for everything she can find about this type of pin. Turns out someone is paying top dollar for pins just like it. The next day, Casey takes a bus alone to the shop. She walks up to the counter, pulls out the pin, and asks about its origin. The female clerk's face freezes instantly, and she hurries off to fetch the owner. He stares at the pin for a long time but refuses to reveal a single thing. Casey gets the message and starts to leave, but the owner suddenly speaks up from behind. "When you touched it, you saw what's inside, didn't you?" Casey stops and turns around. The owner explains that this pin is the work of a group of mad scientists. After they finished building it, they all vanished. The one in Casey's hands is very likely the last entrance to that world left in existence. The two of them start pressing her about where the pin came from. Casey genuinely has no idea, but they clearly have no intention of letting her walk away. They suddenly grab pistols off the shelf. Casey assumes they are just toys, until the next second, a blast tears a massive hole through the ceiling. A pigeon falls through the hole from above, drawing their attention away for just a heartbeat. Casey seizes that instant and bolts. A gunshot rings out behind her. It misses, but the blast wave scorches her arm. The two catch up fast and corner her in a dead end. At the most desperate moment, a metal sphere drops from above. Both attackers freeze mid-motion as if someone hit the pause button. A girl rushes into view and tells Casey to get out. Now, the freeze wears off fast, and the two lunge at the new arrival. But within 2 moves, she rips their heads clean off with her bare hands. Beneath the torn surfaces, circuits, and metal skeletons. They were robots. The girl drags Casey out of the shop at full speed as a violent explosion erupts behind them. They smash the window of a car parked on the street and speed away. Inside the car, the girl introduces herself as Athena, a recruiter for Tomorrowland. Her job is to search Earth for people with extraordinary talent. Casey was chosen because she has been mastering aerospace knowledge since she was a child. But the moment Casey learns that Athena is also a robot, she slams the brakes and jumps out. She grabs another car on the street and floors it. In the rearview mirror, Athena is already closing in. She leaps and lands in the pickup bed. Casey hits the brakes hard, flinging Athena into the truck bed, and Athena yanks out the key and rips off the door handle. Athena tells her that Tomorrowland is dying, and Casey is the only person who can turn things around. But before they can act, they need to find a man named Frank. He is the only one who knows how to get back to Tomorrowland. Athena drops Casey off partway, leaving behind an address marker for Frank. Casey follows the lead to a house converted into a fortress. The moment she gets close, a guard dog charges at her, but Casey notices there are no paw prints on the ground. She reaches out and her hand passes right through it, a holographic projection. At the door, she holds up the pin to explain why she is here, but before she can finish, a shockwave blasts her off her feet. The door swings open and Frank steps out, his voice ice cold, telling Casey not to bother. Everything is already too late. He turns around, goes back inside, and locks the door shut. But Casey is not about to give up. That night, she finds a forklift in the yard, fires it up, and rams it straight into the house. Frank rushes out and freezes the forklift into a block of ice with a modified extinguisher. But by the time he realizes what happened, Casey has already slipped inside during the chaos. Frank gets knocked back by his own defense system outside the door. Casey rummages through the rooms and discovers a pile of high-tech devices. One wall replays Frank's childhood footage, showing a young Frank alongside Athena. It turns out Frank was the last genius recruited into Tomorrowland. In another room, Casey sees global surveillance feeds covering the walls, along with a countdown clock flashing 59 days. Frank enters through a hidden passage and tells her this is the deadline for Earth's destruction, and nothing can change it. But Casey pushes back. No one can predict the future with absolute certainty. The moment she says it, the destruction probability displayed on the wall ticks down from 100 to 99. For the first time, a flicker of doubt crosses Frank's eyes. He finally tells the whole truth. As a child, he invented a jetpack, and Athena selected him. He grew up in Tomorrowland and built a space-time monitoring tower capable of foreseeing everything that is about to happen. But the readings showed that Earth would be completely destroyed within 3 months by pollution, war, pandemics, and natural disasters. David, the leader of Tomorrowland, declared humanity unworthy of salvation, ordered every passage to Earth severed, and banished Frank forever. Before he can finish, alarms blare. The robot pursuers have locked onto their location. Frank seals every door and window and activates the defense system, but the machines rip the front door off its hinges and storm in. Frank destroys one with an electric baton. Hidden traps throughout the house take out several more. The remaining robots open fire wildly. Frank drags Casey into a reinforced room. Through the security feed, he watches them cutting through the sealed door and triggers a floor trap that drops them into the underground level. But enemies have already infiltrated the basement, and Frank is clearly outmatched in the brawl. At the critical moment, Casey slams a trap mechanism onto a robot's head, but the machine clamps down on her hand. Frank swings an iron bar and shatters the robot's arm. They rush upstairs only to find every room occupied. Frank triggers the final trap and wipes out most of the remaining hostiles, but a stronger model sneaks up from behind and presses a gun barrel against Frank's skull. Casey swings a baseball bat and smashes it into the robot. The two dash into the bathroom and dive into the bathtub. Frank hits the launch button at the same instant the robots smash through the door and lunge. The pod blasts upward. The machines get flung off by the G-force in midair, and the pod crashes into a nearby lake. Casey and Frank struggle to shore, where Athena is already waiting. The three drive to an abandoned satellite station. Frank pulls a dimensional transport device from a shipping container. He activates it. There is a blinding flash of light, and they find themselves inside the Eiffel Tower in Paris. A rocket rises slowly from the center platform. The three rush into the capsule and prepare for launch, but the robot pursuers have caught up. They leap onto the rocket and start pounding the hull. The engines ignite just in time. The sheer thrust shakes every last one of them off. The rocket punches through the dimensional barrier, and they finally arrive in Tomorrowland. But the sight before them leaves everyone speechless. The once glorious city is nothing but wasteland and silence. David, the leader, arrives quickly with his forces. He sees the crashed rocket and orders everyone arrested. Frank tells him Casey can save all of this, and David reluctantly leads them to the space-time monitoring tower. Casey sees herself from 7 days ago, and the devastation across Earth 59 days from now. She demands to know why David never told humanity the truth. He answers coldly, humanity is already doomed. But Casey insists the ending is not set in stone. The moment she says it, the ravaged surface of Earth on the display flashes, one instant of green. He locks everyone inside a sealed chamber. Trapped inside, Casey suddenly pieces it all together. The monitoring tower is essentially a giant pin. It does not just predict the future, it continuously broadcasts a signal of despair to Earth, pushing humanity to surrender without even realizing it, steering them towards self-destruction. If they destroy the tower, everything reverses. Soldiers barge in to exile them to another dimension. Casey tells David what she has discovered and begs him to shut down the tower. But David reveals his true face. This has been his plan all along. Once humanity wipes itself out, he will claim Earth and build a civilization of his own. Frank seizes the moment of a handshake to secretly activate the tower's switch. Everyone erupts into a fight with the soldiers. Athena takes on multiple opponents and clears every guard. Then she pulls a super bomb from inside her own body, ready to destroy the tower with her own hands. But David summons a squad of machine soldiers to block her, and she can only toss the bomb to Casey. Casey climbs onto a lift platform but has no idea how to operate it. When she finally gets it started, the platform plunges downward. Athena hijacks a robot midair to catch her, but the bomb's timer is already running. 60 seconds left. Athena shoves Casey through a transport portal to safety. The blast shockwave loosens the building's structure. Rubble crashes down and pins David's legs to the ground. Yet he still picks up a handgun and aims it at Frank. Athena steps in front and takes the bullet. Casey kicks the weapon from David's hand from the side. But Athena's core system is already fatally damaged. She tells Frank calmly that she has only minutes left. With her final words, she makes one last request: use her body as the bomb to destroy the tower. Frank straps on a jetpack, holds Athena in his arms, and flies toward the tower's peak. In the next moment, Athena's systems shut down for good. With tears streaming down his face, Frank hurls her into the tower's core. A massive explosion rips the entire tower apart. The sphere at the top plummets downward, burying David beneath it.